Hey guys and gals, this is Josh here. Welcome back to the Brothers Boyd. Today is episode 3, and we've got some really interesting stuff to talk to you about today. We're going to be looking at a lot of what's coming out this summer. There are a lot of great books coming out. Chris, what are you excited for?
Well, you know me. I've been talking about it and talking it up a lot. I love Chip Zdarsky. I love his writing, and I also love the artwork by George Jimenez. I hope I said his name right. It may be.
I believe it's Jimenez.
Yeah. He is doing the artwork. Starting on issue 125 of Batman, they are taking over the main storyline of Batman. I'm super excited about that. I hope it's really good. I can't see where it would be bad. As a matter of fact, right now I'm reading Batman the Night, which tells Bruce Wayne's story when he leaves Gotham to go train to become Batman. And it is written by Chip Zdarsky. So he's kind of giving us a little taste of what he's got coming. Also, I'm very excited about, you know me, I love Peach, and she is writing her version of Civil War set in the Demon Days type environment. So we're going to get like a samurai version. It's going to be called the Iron Samurai. So I'm assuming we're going to get a character that kind of reflects like Iron Man in that story, and I'm super excited for that as well. And the other thing I'm excited about is we are almost to issue 900 of the Amazing Spider-Man, which we know whenever you have that nice round number at the end, we're going to get something nice, and 900 is an accomplishment. So I'm pretty excited about that too. So those are just a few of what I'm excited for, and I'm excited to share once I get those read with you on this channel here. Daniel, what are you excited for this summer?
I am excited for obviously Dark Crisis, but we'll talk more about that later. I think all of us are going to be reading that as it is. But one of the other big ones is kind of like a shock for me. It's not a DC book. It's actually I believe it's being published by Image now. It was a GoFundMe by Liam Sharp. It's called Hinge. It's a sci-fi take on the King Arthur legend. I've been following Liam for years on Twitter, and like he's always loved his artwork. And what he's doing there is a fully painted artwork, and it looks incredible. And I just can't wait to get my hands on that and just salivate over the artwork. How about you, Josh? What are you looking forward to?
Well, mine is definitely Dark Crisis, and like you said, we're going to talk about that later on. But let's take a look at my first book today. Okay. My first review is an IDW and Boom crossover. You know, summertime's coming, and that's when all the crossovers start to happen. Well, this is a quite unusual one. Godzilla versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And Chris shakes his head every time.
I feel about that.
He's a little older than me, so he didn't grow up with the Power Rangers like we did.
I still like the Power Rangers, but I just think that Godzilla is way overpowered. There's just no way.
Well, in true comic fashion, you know, both the Power Rangers and Godzilla are good guys. So you know what that happens when you get a good crossover. We come together, right? We got to fight. We misunderstand each other. And then we have to work together to fight the true villain of the story. You know that's what's going to happen anytime you have a crossover.
As long as they don't make King Kong the bad guy of the story, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. There's no King Kong. I don't think Boom or IDW either one have the rights to King Kong. So
how great would that be though, to have like a King Kong comic book?
That would be an interesting book, as long as they set it like the Skull Island Kong. That was a really great storyline.
Yeah,
the way they did that.
Wait, yeah, Kong Skull Island is one of my favorite movies too. I love King Kong.
So in this one, our story is written by Colin Bunn, and the art is by Freddie Williams II. I believe he is artist and inker on this book. But we open up with, of course, Rita Repulsa up to no good once again after some kind of artifact, and they've sent Tommy the Green Ranger in to try and stop her. We get a battle between Tommy and Goldar and Rita. And when Rita gets hold of this special artifact she has, she opens a portal to another dimension. She's searching for a dimension where there are no Power Rangers to foil her plans. But little does she know when she gets there that she winds up in an angel grove where Godzilla is there. Godzilla is fighting another monster, and Rita runs into the people from Planet X. Daniel, I think you should remember them from the old Godzilla movies.
Oh yes.
Yeah, yeah. The people from Planet X come in, and Rita aligns herself with them, and they are trying to defeat the humans of Earth and take all their resources by sending monsters out to invade. Little did they know they had Godzilla as a protector. While this is going on, the other Rangers are trying to figure out where Tommy went so they can get to him and help him wherever he is to fight Rita. At this point, we of course have Godzilla, and all Tommy sees is a giant monster like Rita would send after them. So he calls upon the Dragon Zord to help him fight. And there's a pretty epic image here of Godzilla and the Dragon Zord facing off against each other. The battle ensues as it should between Megazord and Monster, and we get a fight that is pretty epic.
Tommy pulled that flute out, that fight would be over real quick.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, he has the flute, but unfortunately, and I hate to say it because I'm a big fan, but Godzilla's got more power than him. He is much more powerful.
There, I got you to say it.
He is much more powerful, and he takes Tommy down, and we're left with Tommy looking for help. And I won't spoil the ending, but you got to know that help is going to come. By the end. I've read all 3 issues that are out today. And it just gets better. It does follow the traditional crossover tropes of, 2 good guys fight each other when they run into each other, and then they have to, help each other out. But it's still a great book. Now, it's not over at 3 issues. I believe there may be 3 more coming. So if you're interested in this one, this would be a great summer read. It's a lot of fun, and who doesn't like a giant monster battle? Monsters versus robots, right?
That's always fun. Pacific Rim,
yeah,
all those fun movies. Kong versus Godzilla.
Yes.
Kaiju battle.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, Chris, I'll turn it over to you. What are you reading right now?
All right, so this week I picked up, and I showed it when I picked it up, but I picked up Elektra, Black, White, and Blood #4. This is the last in this series. This was a very short series, and it was anthology stories about Elektra, drawn and written by a lot of different artists and writers, and I really enjoyed the story, but the only reason why I started picking it up is because I knew Peach Momoko was drawing and writing a story in the last one, but the whole arc of this book has been really good. There's been some really great stories. But the 3 stories they had in the end of this one, there were 3 different stories. The first one was called Powers That You Can't Comprehend, and it was written by Matthew Rosenberg, and the artist was Alberto Albuquerque. I hope I pronounced that right, but it looks like it was spelled Albuquerque. So, and so at the beginning of this story, we find Kingpin hiring Elektra, who is an assassin, to go and take someone out. And so she leaves and goes to find this person. And when she gets in the room with him and starts to try to take him out, she realizes it's not just an ordinary person. And that's when we hear her say the name Blaze. And that could only mean one thing, Johnny Blaze. So we get a pretty epic battle between Elektra and Ghost Rider in this story. And Ghost Rider kind of shows her all of her sorrows by the end of the story and all of the deaths that she has committed. And so she chooses not to kill him. I don't think she could. I don't think she was powerful enough. And she goes back to Kingpin, which at the time he had hired someone to follow her, and if she didn't get the job done, they were supposed to kill Ghost Rider and her. Obviously that doesn't happen either. So she goes back to Kingpin at the end, gives him the money back, and there's a little surprise in the bag with the money, and she says, "Don't ever make me have to go after that man again." So that was the end of the first story. The second story was the one that I bought the comic for. It was called Assassin, and it was written and drawn by Peach Momoko. She does all of her art in watercolor, which makes for some beautiful imagery. This story alone was really, there was no words in it at all. It was all just pictures and artwork. And so I love really good artwork, and it was a super quick read, but you just kind of take your time and appreciate the artwork in this story as well. Um, so just another addition. It takes place in the same environment and world as the Demon Days. So we actually have Elektra now existing along with the characters from her Demon Days story. And then third, and certainly not least, the last story was written by Rendezvous, was called Rendezvous, and is written by none other than Kevin Eastman of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, along with Freddie E. Williams. And this one also was very light on words. That's one thing I did like about these. I mean, not that I don't mind reading. It's not like I'm slow or something. I can't read a lot of words.
Yeah.
It's just
you believe that every day, don't you?
I do. But just lots of light sounding colors works for me. It's all good. But this one's drawn in the traditional Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle style, which makes it really interesting. Tells a great story. And again, this whole arc of books was called Black, White, and Blood. And the reason for that, there's only 3 colors in the whole arc. You get black whenever there's something black, you get white, and you get blood, which is red. So Elektra's outfit is red. So of course we get that color. But everything else in there is black, white, or if there's blood, you see red. So very, very simple images, but a beautifully written book. At 4 issues, it's really easy to pick up. I think eventually these might be worth having in your collection just to have them, because they're such a good book. Daniel, what did you read this week?
Before I throw it up to read, I just wanted to say that Freddie Williams, the third, I believe, is who the artist was on that Kevin Eastman story, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he did the Ninja Turtles Batman crossover art, and he's just fantastic.
Oh,
so
absolutely. Yeah, now cool. I was not aware of that, but that's pretty awesome. Yeah, that was a really well drawn book as well.
Yes, but well, we're going to talk about what I read. I read Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 11. I actually caught up on this series this past week, but we're going to talk about the newest issue. It's written by Tom Taylor and art by Cian Tormey. I hope I got your name right, man. I'm sorry, but this issue actually starts off with John Kent and Lois and the mom and pa Kent all going into hiding because John has basically ruffled a lot of feathers internationally. So he's basically making some enemies throughout the international world now. And with Superman revealing his identity back a few years ago, like the whole family is now a target. So Batman had to come and throw them into hiding from with the Justice League. And at the end of last issue, he told John not to trust his partner at the Truth that he's been working with, and he was a little bit more, but we won't go into that right now. But he wanted he basically told him that he's like a terrorist and that he was not of goodwill. So we really don't know for sure that Jonathan does confront him about this. And he does say that he has been working with this terrorist group, but they are not what they seem to be, that they are doing good, but I don't know for sure if that's really the case right now. That seems kind of up in the air right this moment. But through that talk and everything, he does learn that the president of the nation that Jonathan is kind of ticked off has been using the same kind of equipment that Amanda Waller uses with the Suicide Squad, and plants things into the people's heads. And he learns about that, and he gave a issue ago a guy that's been catching fire at random to the Justice League to keep contained. And he realizes he needs to get them out of there so that the guy can't spy on the Justice League. And he gets in there and they work together with the Atom and actually get the thing out of there. But in doing that, he kind of ticks off the world leader, and they're now like gunning by the end of the issue for a showdown. So this is kind of like a penultimate chapter, really. Overall, yeah, I'm really enjoying this series. Tom King is just a fantastic writer. Anyways, he
Tom
really has
Taylor.
Tom Taylor. Yes. Oh my God, I did that. I'm so sorry, Mr. Taylor. He gets that too much on Twitter, and I just did that right here on video. But yes, Tom Taylor is a fantastic writer. He's really kind of balanced the personality of Jonathan, kind of made the best of a situation that a lot of fans are kind of up in the air about. I know myself personally would have liked to seen about another decade or two with Jonathan being between like 9 to 12 years old before we jumped into 17-year-old Jonathan. But he's done making a really good job of what he's doing with him. He's really kind of balanced his personality out where he has the best of Clark and the best of Lois. Really, he kind of gets into that good trouble that Lois gets into, but he also is just super kind-hearted and like always tries to do the best, see the best in everybody that Clark has. So I personally really am enjoying this series a lot. And I did really like the art in this series, this issue. I think it's all the series overall has a really nice, bubbly kind of cartoonish style to it that really kind of fits the writing very well, in my opinion. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this book if you're really just wanting a kind of refreshing read for Superman, and to see Jonathan being handled really well, especially if you've been kind of on the fence about the aging up of him. Really, I think they've handled this really well.
Hey, Daniel, what was
Yeah.
your highlight moment from this book? I want to
Well,
see
my
if it matches mine.
Honestly, the highlight for me is probably seeing there's a panel with Jonathan kind of taking the Burning Man up into the sky. I think it's a really, really good panel. I honestly would have liked to seen it be a full page spread, but like it's really well done, and I really like the art there in that panel.
Yeah. The highlight in the artwork, my highlight was a story note, Daniel. The at the beginning of the book, when they first go into hiding, when Pa Kent calls Batman over and they have a heart to heart, and he talks
Yes,
about how Martha and him have been talking to Alfred for years because they were the only ones who knew how to talk about raising kids that were like Clark and Bruce. I thought
that was a
great
nice little
piece.
touch. Yes.
Yes.
I really like that a lot. There was something else that was on the tip of my tongue, and now it's just gone.
So here's my kind of take, because I'm not reading that story right now, but what I heard when you were telling me about this is Batman comes and saves the day like he always does.
Yes, but he entered some paranoia into Jonathan's brain that he kind of had to work through the issues. So that's Batman though.
Yeah, of course, that's what he always
But
does.
Dick Grayson does give him great advice though. So that works out pretty well.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah. But even though Batman thinks he's right, Pa Kent kind of sets him down and tells him he needs to back off a little bit.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's Pa Kent.
still
He's the
not
only
sure
one who probably can say that, other than Alfred.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure I can trust his partner really yet though. I kind of get the feeling that something's about to go down by the end of the year where he gets betrayed or something.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about that too. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with this. But I think Tom Taylor has mapped out a pretty good roadmap on this series and is telling a great story full of heart.
Yes.
All right. So now I think I'm going to let Josh kind of introduce this next book that we all have read, and spoilers if you haven't read it, but we are going to talk about Justice League 75.
Yeah, and the spoiler is directly in the title of this issue. This issue is titled Death of the Justice League. This issue is the build up for Summertime Crisis for DC. So we've got Dark Crisis coming, and this issue begins that story. They call this the prelude issue, and actually issue 1 of the series begins next week with Justice League Road to Dark Crisis.
My question is this: is anybody ever really dead in comics though? Because we can always bring people back.
It used to be anybody but Bucky, but Ed Brubaker tore that rule away when he did the Winter Soldier. Yeah.
Hey, there was a moratorium on the second Robin for a while there too. So, but he came back as Red Hood as well.
Oh yeah, Jason Todd.
Yeah,
Of course.
Todd, yeah.
Much better character as Red Hood than he was as Jason Todd Robin.
Definitely.
All right, so Josh, kind of give us some of your thoughts on this book. And
I mean, if you went into the comic shop to buy this book, you had a variety of covers to pick from issue 75. I actually wound up buying 2 copies of it because the day I went in to buy it, I got the cover that has all of the coffins on it, and it has each Justice League member in the coffin with the Titans and the other remaining heroes behind them, like in a funeral procession. But the highlight cover for me is the main A cover, which is an acetate cover that says Death of the Justice League. And behind it, you have this picture of all the members just falling in a bright light behind them. When you go into this story, it's nonstop action from start to finish. It really drops you right into the story, and you can tell something big is getting ready to happen.
Right, I like the beginning when you start seeing the members of the Justice League. They just all start disappearing, and there's a great panel showing like each one wherever they may be. They just all start fading out, and you're like, okay, are we killing them at the beginning of the book? But obviously not. So there's a great battle in the book as well. Daniel, what did you think about the centerfold, I believe is what it is, when you see the Dark Army and Pariah standing there?
I've loved Rafa Sandoval's art for years. He did a run on Green Lantern, which I thought was incredible. I always loved when he came on to the book and just really beefed up the artwork. He just has great layout, a great presence with the characters and stuff like that. And his enemies just look super dark and just menacing, man. It's just really kind of brings you into the book. Really, it kind of illustrates what they the menace they are for the Justice League in this book.
Yeah, and we got the baddest of the bad right there in the middle of the picture. I mean, you've got Darkseid, you've got Doomsday. I believe over here on the right, you've got Trigon. Ares is back in the back. I believe this is Josh, Necron over here. And so, I mean, not only do you see that, but if you look closer at the picture, you just see more like silhouettes coming towards you as well. So they were pretty serious. They were coming for you.
Yeah, Daniel, you read the Lantern books. That's Black Hand beside Darkseid and Eclipso on the other side as well.
Yes.
Right. So to me, when I saw this Dark Army, my first thought is the Justice League has fought the Legion of Doom. Okay, the Legion of Doom is a group of villains, but none of them are as powerful as all the guys in this group. And the only time they've ever fought these guys is by themselves, not in a group altogether. That kind of power is just pretty tough to beat.
Yes, and like if you're reading the book, you also know what's causing like them to be so powerful and to gather up together and stuff like that too. I don't want to spoil that in case one of y'all want to talk about it or anything like that, but how far do we want to go into this?
Well, I mean, I think it's okay. There's been a kind of overarching theme of the Great Darkness coming, and we've been talking about that for several years. And I think this is leading up to even more of that. And so the book itself is just incredibly drawn. Like Daniel says, the artwork is amazing. I'm coming at this book from the perspective that I don't read Justice League. But whenever a volume comes out and it's the death of someone, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a collectible book. The actual cover I wound up picking up, and it was kind of funny because it was the only one they had in the shop. I just grabbed it because I knew it was Justice League 75. I didn't really look at the cover all that well. And then when I got home and looked at it, it was the Batman cover, and he's actually sitting on top of a looks like a statue or something. And so, I mean, it just kind of is like, the comic gods were looking out for me and gave me that cover because that was the only one left in the shop. obviously this is leading up to something really, really cool. I mean, Dark Crisis is going to happen. I don't know that I myself will buy all of them, because again, comics are expensive, but I do plan on reading all of them. We'll probably all just trade them around and
Oh yeah. The Dark Crisis is going to be one of my definite buys. I enjoy the Crisis. I actually have Crisis on Infinite Earths, Identity Crisis, part of 0 Hour, Armageddon 2001. I like the big crossovers that DC does. So
I'm actually going to throw a word in here too. Like, the Crisis on Infinite Earths really plays a big role in what they're doing here with Dark Crisis. Like, more so than any of the other crises, I think. Really, he's definitely the Great Darkness was something that was really mentioned a lot in the original Crisis on Infinite Earths. And there's another character in this issue that has not been seen since Crisis on Infinite Earths, and he went from being a misunderstood person to a pretty nasty person in this issue.
Yeah.
oh yes, he did.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. And real quick, I remember like in the 90s, you guys remember when they came out and said, okay, we're going to do the death of Superman. And you're thinking, nah, you can't really kill Superman. Well, we knew that was going to be something big. And it was something big. It's the first time they ever like killed a major character in a comic, and we lost Superman. And he came back, of course, because nobody really dies in comics again. But to see this book and to see all of the Justice League get killed, that's a pretty major event when you see like all of these guys just wind up gone. I mean, we're losing Batman, we're losing Superman, we're losing Wonder Woman. Someone does survive. I won't spoil that for you, but
it's going to pop up on the screen here at the end. You'll see that
two
final
survivors.
panel.
There's 2 survivors if you read the book carefully enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that you say that, there is, Sue. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what happens with Dark Crisis and where we go from there, and how it just shakes up the whole DC universe, because we know it's going to change things. And it's going to be, let's not jump back too quick to where we were before. Let's let them be dead for a while, and let's see where this storytelling takes us for the next couple of years.
Like you mentioned with the death of Superman, they kept Superman dead for like over a year before they even started putting the wheels in motion to bring him back. They did The Funeral for a Friend, took 2 months where they didn't publish any Superman books, and then did the Reign of the Superman, and then the Return. So yeah, it was well over a year's worth of story before they ever brought him back.
Right, and it made for a great story. I mean, because they kind of had mapped it out and knew what they were going to do. So let's hope that they knew what they were going to do with this one, and that we get like a really great Dark Crisis story, and see where it goes from there. Because I know just a couple of years ago we had Infinite Frontier, and things changed after Death Metal happened. So we'll see where they go from here, and just keep reading and enjoying DC Comics. Because
and Dango, you've been reading the Infinite Frontier and all that's been leading up to this. All this has been coming. I want to add a side note to the one you were talking about, the character they brought back from Dark Crisis, or from Crisis on Infinite Earths. I won't say his name, but I feel like that's a great throwback to the late George Perez that we lost a few weeks ago.
Oh,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was great character design. George was always really good with character design and detail and things like that. So
yes.
All right, so I guess that's probably all we got for you this week. Things are going really well as far as us reading stuff. Our local comic shop, and Andy at Carolina Comics and more here in New Bern, is keeping us well. I think Josh said the other week he keeps our books coming and our wallets lighter.
Yes.
So that's really cool. So one question I kind of wanted to ask you guys and kind of share, how, I'm sitting right now at about 350 plus comics. Josh, you probably, how many do you have?
Well, I've got 4 long boxes, 6 short boxes, plus all my graphic novels on the shelf behind me. I mean, I couldn't even go into counting.
So we're
There's
talking
so
a
many.
butt ton load of comics. That's what we're
Definitely,
talking about. How about you,
definitely.
Daniel? How many are you sitting on?
If you'd asked me 2 years ago, it would have probably been well over 10 to 15,000 comics. But
Whew.
now you're probably looking at about 600 to 800 at this point right now. It's nowhere near as bad as it was, but I don't
I
have the
don't think that's a
space.
bad thing, though.
Yeah.
You can never have too many comics, right?
And yeah, and a lot of the stuff that I really from that I sold, I've been slowly trying to pick up trades of the stuff I really want to keep around. So
Yeah.
Right. That's a great way to keep a story, and you can buy the whole story, and instead of having like 6 books, you got one and you've got a whole story there.
as strange as it is, it's less space. It takes up less space to have like a collected edition than it does to have just random issues laying around, even in boxes. Those boxes start to pile up really fast.
Oh, absolutely. I just went through my detectives the other day, and they almost fill up one whole short box, which is crazy. But with all these comics, we like to keep track of what we have. Josh and I recently discovered on Android and Apple Store an app called League of Comic Geeks. And I got in touch with these guys and they said, absolutely share it. But the cool thing about this app is what it does is you can put it on your phone. Now, I think Apple, you just need to look up Comic Geeks.
Yes.
And it will come up. Josh may throw a picture down here or something. And we'll see, you can see what the actual app photo looks like. And what you can see is it does several things really well. First off, it will keep your collection, and you can scan. If you've got a barcode on the front of that comic, you can scan it and it'll come up right in there, and you just save it to your collection. If you don't have a barcode, they have individual how do I say this, folders that you can go to. It'll have it broken down like Batman. I know I have a lot, so it goes from when Batman started to about 2011. Then you have 2011 to 2016, and then you have 2016 to the current. So you can open that folder, find your book. Not only does it have the book, it also has drop down tabs for if you have a variant cover of that book. You can put those in and it will save it to your collection. Another cool feature that it has is it has a button that you can push, like I subscribe to Batman, so I press the button to subscribe. It has a built-in calendar for pull dates, and you can go on that tab and see when your books are coming out. It will keep track of everything that comes out that Tuesday or Wednesday when it comes out. And it will also give you the cost at the top of what you're picking up. So you can look and say, oh, okay, I got to spend $20 this week to pick my books up. It's been very helpful for me. I've actually almost cataloged all my books now, which I got a late start compared to these guys. I just started in 2019 back collecting. So 350 is a pretty good number for just a couple of years of collecting between the shops and flea markets and wherever I might go. And so what I do is whenever I pick up, the first thing I do is go home and I go ahead and scan those in and get them into the system. But the cool thing is if it's already in the system that you're picking it up, all you got to do is click one button and it goes to your collection.
Yes.
So check that out. It's called League of Comic Geeks. And these guys are doing great things, and keep it up, guys, because it's awesome.
I think one of my favorite things about it, Chris, is when I read an issue, it also has a button I can click and it says read it. So I know which ones I've read and which ones I need to go back and look at that way.
Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about that, but that is really cool as well, because sometimes we get so many during a week, we don't know, have I read that yet or am I reading it?
Exactly.
Cool.
Right.
And that really makes me want to go through that and start the arduous process of actually cataloging my collection now. But really, guys, I think we're at the end here, so we're gonna I just want you to check down here below me to check out the our links to our social media where you can catch up with us. We like to post little videos throughout the week telling you what we've read and things like that. So right down here we'll have all the links to your social media here for you.
All right. And guys, if you will click that like button and subscribe, smash that bell so that you know and get a notification when we put up a new video, so you can catch up on the latest of what's going on with us, the brothers Boyd. And if you will, check it out in the comment section. If there's something you've seen that we're reading or that you're reading that you want us to talk about, throw it down there in a comment and we'll look it up and see about adding it on our next video.
Also, we're trying to get to 100 subscribers. And the cool thing is, check it out, guys. We got stickers. Who wants stickers? We're looking to give some of these away when we hit 100 subscribers. So the quicker we get there, the quicker you can get a sticker. And you know you want to join the Brothers Boyd Nation and support us. This would look really good on like a thermos or a mug or your car window or just wherever you want to stick it. So check that out. And hey guys, always remember, go to your shops every week. Let's keep these local shops open because that's what keeps us going. And until the next video, we will
See you at the shop.